twist that you find out in the middle of the book that is so twisted that someone needs to talk about it, I'm in. One of my summer reading challenge / book club members posted in the group asking if anyone had read it because they needed to discuss the twist at the end of part 1 going into part 2. So the book that we are talking about is Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. Am I saying her name right? Picoult? Published in 2021. 374 pages and just shy of 12 hours on audiobook. So it's March 2020 and Diana and Finn are getting ready to go on vacation to the Galapagos. Except we all know what happens in March 2020, right? So like the day before they're supposed to leave, Finn, who is a doctor at New York Presbyterian Hospital in New York City, Finn tells Diana that, he can't go on vacation. They need him at the hospital, right? But she should go without him. And at the time, it was right before, like, everything in the US is still open and nobody in the US really knew what was going on except Finn, who was a doctor, right? And they were starting to hear about what was going on in Italy and they were starting to see COVID cases pop up in the city. And like his attending was like, we got to be prepared. This is going to be bad. So Finn's vacation is canceled. But Diana is like, oh, well, I'm still going on vacation because we paid a lot of money for this trip and I've always wanted to visit the Galapagos. And so I'm going, even though there's a global pandemic afoot and my doctor boyfriend is telling me that it's going to be so bad that the doctors at his hospital are freaking out and trying to figure out how to be prepared for the death and destruction that is headed our way. All of that is well and good, but I'm going on vacation, right? This is Diana. Then she jumps on a plane and lands in the Galapagos, where she learns that, yes, Diana, there is a global pandemic. And yes, Diana, even your small island in the Galapagos is getting ready to shut down, right? She gets off the ferry and she sees the line of tourists who are clamoring, like climbing over each other to get on the last ferry off the island to the mainland, to the airport, to the plane back home before the entire world comes to a stop, right? And Diana is asked if maybe she also wants to go back to the airport. And she's like, nope, I'm on holiday, I'm staying. So she gets off the ferry, finds her hotel where she's told that, yes, Diana, the hotel is closed. There's a global pandemic, don't you know? Maybe you should go get on that ferry and go home. But no, she's like, I'll just go find another hotel. Well, Diana, everything on the island is closed. So she's like wandering around the island and a little old abuela is like, oh, here, why don't you come stay in this empty apartment I have? Because otherwise you're going to be living on the beach with the turtles and eating seaweed for survival because everything on the island is closed and everyone is supposed to be staying home. Can you tell how annoyed I am at Diana? Yeah. I'm not going to give away any spoilers because that would be mean. But this part is not a spoiler since we all lived it. Right? So Diana is basically stuck on this island for months, right? We remember. And because it's the Galapagos, her mobile phone doesn't work. And because the hotels are all shut down, there's no internet. And so she has like no way of communicating with Finn Except for every so often, there will be service somehow, and like an email from him will come through on her phone. And his emails are all just telling her about how awful everything is at the hospital and how much he misses her. And like all of this heart-wrenching stuff that you will remember from the earliest days of the pandemic, right? Um, I mean, I remembered it. I was like having stress reading the book because I was actually stuck in New York City during the pandemic. I got to tell you, the stories that Finn was sharing brought back all of those memories of sitting in front of the TV, listening to Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio, and just like all of it, all of it. So while me and Finn are stuck in New York, Diana is on holiday in the Galapagos, right? And she meets a man, she meets and makes friends with his daughter, and it turns out that little abuela is his mom, right? And so Diana goes on and has this whole life there, doing the things that you do when you're friends with a tour guide, and you're on his island and you don't have anything to do and you don't want to stay home, even though the government is fining people and arresting people for being out and about after curfew. Diana is like going on with her life. And months go by and a lot of living happens, which I'm not going to tell you about. But then one day, she and Gabriel, the man, the tour guide, go swimming. And we're suddenly at the end of part one. And the next thing you know is part two. And you're trying to call 911 because you broke your freaking jaw when it fell on the floor. But you can't call 911 because you can't find your phone, because the other thing that happened is that your eyes popped out of your head. Yeah, the twist is that good. And that's all I'm going to say about this book. Spoiler free, because I don't want to ruin it for you. You can say thank you in the comments, because it is so hard for me not to tell you. I need to tell you so we can talk about it. We got to talk about this. So I get that you're intrigued to read this yourself now, right? I see you typing "wish you were here" into your Amazon search bar, right? You're looking it up because you want to read it. But if you're also like, yeah, this might be a great book to read like before bed at night or to read on a plane, but look, it's not exactly the kind of literary masterpiece that you read for book club, is it? Look, my answer is forget about literary masterpieces. You can read any book you want for book club, and the only requirement in my mind is that it should be a book that you'd have things to talk about with other people after you all read the book. I mean, we go to book club to talk about books, right? Well, this book has stuff to talk about. One, we all went through COVID lockdowns together, right? We all stayed home or didn't. You know who you are. We all have opinions on whether people should have been getting on planes, right? We all have opinions about the frontline and essential workers and healthcare workers, right? And this is something that we all quite recently went through. So you can't tell me there won't be things to discuss about like what Diana and Finn were thinking and feeling and doing, and the choices they were making, and the consequences of those choices, and whether or not you agree with their choices, and whether there were other choices that could have or maybe should have been made, and like whether anything would have turned out differently or changed the ending. Because like both before and after the twist, there were things happening to Diana and Finn and the other characters that you're going to meet in the book, both in the Galapagos and in New York City, including, by the way, Yoko Ono. Except it's not Yoko Ono, it's someone else who is exactly Yoko Ono. But this is a fictional book, and so she's a fictional character and not the actual Yoko Ono, except she is. And she's actually maybe my favorite character in the book. So if you're wondering if this is a good book to book club, yeah, it absolutely is. I would love to book club this book, and so would my friend who originally posted about it in the Facebook group. We all want to talk about it. We need to discuss this twist. Okay, so it's not just the twist that I would love to talk about, right? I mean, the twist is non-negotiable, right? The twist is the thing that you're going to be like dialing your book club bestie right after you read that part to be like, shit, did you read this? What is going on? Right? You're going to do that, right? But there are other things to talk about. And so here are 3 things that I would love to discuss with my book club about this book. Before you knew about the twist and what happens in part 2, what did you think of Diana? I obviously was annoyed by her, but were you annoyed that she went on vacation without Finn during a pandemic? Were you surprised by the way she acted on the island? What did you think of Diana? Have you got any theories on what happened while she was unconscious? And what did you think of Rayanne's theory? What did you think of that? And what do you think happens next? Like, if there was a sequel, or if that wasn't the end of the book, what happens next? Was it Gabriel who grabbed her arm to stop her from falling into the cage again? Is Gabriel even his name, right? And if it is him, will he remember her? And will she tell him that she remembers him? What do you think happens next? What do you think? Are you thinking about reading this now? Have you already read it? Are you dying to talk to someone about it like I am? If you are, send me an email and let me know. Maybe if there's enough interest, we'll put together a discussion group, a wish you were here support group. Yeah, maybe we can put a discussion group together and talk about that twist and everything else. That's the wrap on Wish You Were Here. If you're going to read it or read it with your book club, let me know in the comments and let me know how the discussion goes. I bet it's going to be great. Yeah. If you're thinking about These Precious Days by Ann Patchett, Heart Bones by Colleen Hoover, or People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks, I've got videos coming up on those books, so no worries, I've got you covered. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you will be notified when I've got videos for those books available. You're in the right place. We read different. If you're reading or thinking about reading Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, or Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, you might want to check out these videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.